503.110 Use of force by persons with responsibility for care, discipline, or safety of others. 1. The use of physical force by a defendant upon another person is justifiable when the defendant is a parent, guardian, or other person entrusted with the care and supervision of a minor or an incompetent person, or when the defendant is a teacher or other person entrusted with the care and supervision of a minor for a special purpose. And A. The defendant believes that the force used is necessary to promote the welfare of a minor or mentally disabled person, or if the defendant's responsibility for the minor or mentally disabled person is for special purpose, to further that special purpose or maintain reasonable discipline in a school, class, or other group. And B. The force that is used is not designed to cause or known to create substantial risk of causing death, serious physical injury, disfigurement, extreme pain, or extreme mental distress. 2. The use of physical force by a defendant upon another person is justifiable when the defendant is a warden or other authorized official of a correctional institute, and A. The defendant believes the force used is necessary for the purpose of enforcing the lawful rules of the institution. B. The degree of force used is not forbidden by any statute governing the administration of the institution, and if deadly force is used, its use is otherwise justifiable under this code. 3. The use of physical force by a defendant upon another person is justifiable when the defendant is a person The use of physical force by a defendant upon another person is justifiable when the defendant is a person responsible for the operation or the maintenance of order in a vehicle or other carrier of passengers, and the defendant believes that such force is necessary to prevent interference with its operation or to maintain order in the vehicle or the carrier, except that deadly physical force may be used only when the defendant believes it is necessary to prevent death or serious physical injury. 4. The use of physical force by a defendant upon another person is justified when the defendant is a doctor or a therapist or a person assisting him at his direction, and the force used is for the purpose of administering and recognizing form. The force is used for the purpose of administering a recognized form of treatment, which the defendant believes to be adapted to promoting the physical or mental health of the patient. B. The treatment is administered with the consent of the patient, or if the patient is a minor or mentally disabled person, with the consent of the parent, guardian, or other person legally competent to consent in his behalf, or the treatment is administered in an emergency when the defendant believes that no one competent to consent can be consulted and that a reasonable person wishing to safeguard the welfare of the patient would consent. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the last one. 503.120 Justification, General Provisions. When the defendant believes that the use of force upon or toward the person of another is necessary for any of the purposes for which such belief would establish a justification under KRS 503.050 to 503.110, but the defendant is wanton or reckless in believing the use of any force or the degree of force used to be necessary, or in acquiring or failing to acquire any knowledge or belief which is material to the justifiability of his use of force and the justification afforded by those sections, is unavailable in prosecution for an offense for which wantonness or recklessness, as the case may be, suffices to establish culpability. 2. When the defendant is justified under KRS 503.050 to 503.110 in using force upon or towards person of another, but he wantonly or recklessly injures or creates a risk of injury to innocent persons, the justification afforded by those sections is unavailable in a prosecution for offense involving wantonness or recklessness towards innocent persons.